Right, I'm recording on Audacity for you.
Welcome to another episode of Bold Movers and Shakers, interviews that rock the boat. And today I have someone extra special to me. This is Gareth Martin. We love to call him China because he likes to be called China. How you going?
I'm going super well. Thank you so much for having me on your show today, Alex. This has been an amazing journey of getting to know you, and also even just this pre-chat that you have. It's unfortunate that we didn't record it because it's been so good, hasn't it?
I did have it running, but I won't necessarily launch that up online. But I absolutely adore this man. Gareth Martin is a podcast host, co-host of Ridiculously Human, the podcast that really genuinely brings in the widest range of incredible human beings that you'll ever find. And it is my absolute honor to interview this man himself. But it's really just a conversation. And as you guys know, Bold Movers and Shakers is designed to give you at least one tip, just one, so that you'll take a bigger step, or maybe a baby step, towards a bold move, to step off the curb and out towards your destination and your destiny. They're one and the same. And it really is just one step at a time. So I have yet to pry into your brain, Gareth, about the particular bold move or definition of bold move. We haven't really covered that. So we're going to kind of free flow with a little bit of a back and forth here
Cool.
because everyone has a different definition of what it means to be bold. But what I know is that, at least what I hear, I don't spend, I'm not in everybody's room at night, but I don't imagine people sit around thinking, I need to make more bold moves. But what they do have in front of them is something that seems, everything we want is right out of our comfort zone, isn't it? Everything that we don't have that we want next is just outside of our comfort zone. And that could be a bold move to go get that. So I just want to have a bit of a chat about those kind of concepts with you today.
Cool. Well, I'm really excited. Just let me know. I think in my life, I've probably made a few bold moves that I can think of. But I guess, like you said, it's different for everybody, and it doesn't have to be something massive, but it could be something that just slightly shifts your perspective and your trajectory in life, and gives you that little bit of different direction.
So by definition, is it something that, what I have found, Gareth, is that typically the person who's done something sort of out of the norm doesn't think twice about it. They don't think twice about it. It's who they are. But it's the rest of the world saying, dang, that was bold. Wow, I can't believe you did that. Have you had that kind of feedback about some things that you've done?
Yes, I guess I have, you know what I mean? And you nailed it perfectly, when you're the person kind of doing these things, you don't necessarily see it. And you're like, yeah, what do you mean? It's just normal, isn't it? And,
Right.
even speaking to my girlfriend this week, and I'm like, wow, you really inspire me with the amazing bold moves you've made in your life. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, well, you did this and this and this and this and this, and it is, I think it is so true. People don't see it because they're living the life.
That's right.
And we actually sometimes need to be reminded of it, because people often, we're fearful and we lack self-confidence and all these things. But actually, if you go back and you look back in your own life, there's been so many times when you've done something that is courageous and is a bold move, but you just don't really realize it,
No.
So, and it's important to recognize that and realize it and remember it, because it helps you in your next bold move to go, actually, I've done this before. Why can I not do it again?
That's absolutely the truth, because life is there's always something new to tackle. It's just ever evolving. That's what we do, and can get kind of blinded by the issue instead of the possibility that, hey, there's a solution here. I forgot that I've done this before, or maybe if you've never done it before, to find help, or just sort of buck up and go, just do it. I use that analogy, Gareth, about stepping off the curb and the traffic's coming, and you don't step off then. You wait till it clears up. But, by the time you've got to get to the other side of traffic is still barreling through. But when you show up, how often is the case that we've been waved through? The traffic will stop. People will say, hey, oh, yeah, I see you're trying to get over. Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true, like people do want to actually help you in your next move. And just going back a little bit, like I think people they forget that just going for a job interview or changing their job, that is a bold move. That takes a lot of confidence because you have to prepare for it. You get nervous, you get asked questions. And then maybe you do get the job, then you've got to start at another company. So you've got to resign. You've got to tell your manager, I'm leaving. That's a bold move. Like it takes courage to do that. And then you've got to go into this whole new business where you meet all these new people and you're the newbie and you you once again, you're probably shy, you're nervous, but we've all done it. We've all done that. You know what I mean? And that is like one little bold move, so we all have it within us to do these things. They don't have to be massive things. And we must remember those.
It's so true. It's all relative, isn't it, to what it is that you're called to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you know that there's some people that are born without the brain function of fear?
Yeah. I was speaking to someone about it the other day. We were talking about, I think there's some really amazing climbing movies at the moment. One called Solo, I think it's called Free Solo, and then Dawn Wall. And we were just like, yeah, those guys definitely don't have the fear thing built into them. It's like non-existent.
And that's a genuine physiological condition.
Wow, it's amazing.
Genuinely do not have a fear mode. It's got a name. I've forgotten the name. I just randomly brought that up. But that actually exists.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing because I think, yeah. I mean, I think I think fear is a good thing, to be honest with you.
That's what I wanted to bring up. How do if somebody's looking at anything outside their comfort zone is slightly uncomfortable. That's why it's called a comfort zone. So then what's on the other side of that is, well, I'm scared. I don't know. There's unknowns. Fear is meant to protect us, but not to box us in, huh?
Yeah, for sure. So I think in relation to fear, like there's some ridiculous statistic that people worry about things. 90% of things that people worry about never end up happening, right?
Wow.
Never end up happening. So like, for example, you might go to bed tonight and you've got like 50 things going on and you're thinking about them, but you're worrying about what might happen, but they never happen because, that's just how it works. You like worry about stuff that never happens, which is kind of ridiculous. So we create these like extra levels of stress that we don't need. But I think, in terms of fear, actually, fear is just like, it's part of who we are. Emotionally, it's like part of our DNA. If we're part of the animal kingdom basically, and fear is used in good ways, especially in the animal kingdom, to warn you, okay, there's a predator there. You know what I mean? If you're like a little buck in the African savannah and there's a lion and you can see it, your fear tells you, I must get out of here because that thing's going to eat me. Same as being a human. Your fear is telling you that something is there for a particular reason. Now, is it always good to listen to it? I think yes, it is. Okay, because it means you're probably onto a good thing. Now, how you react to that is what's actually important. Do you let it overcome you, or do you dance with it? Okay, because you're never going to overcome fear because it's always going to come back in some sort of way and at some sort of level. So what you need to do is you need to learn to dance with fear. You need to go, I see you, right? I know what you're trying to do, but let's dance, rather than, I'm going to just take a step back here and just take the easy way out.
I like that a lot. I love to bring it way back to the basics of And those are really good points about it. That for survival, it's one thing. But can you, if it was possible to remember what it was like to be a toddler, a crawling toddler, standing upright made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Exactly.
I mean, really, it doesn't. Like the aerodynamics of it, you're on all fours. That's pretty freaking solid. Good. Yeah. We're good. And I like to propose this question, just sort of tongue in cheek. But what if we never learned to walk because we were so good at crawling?
Yeah, it's a great question. Hey, like, well, you would only ever see the earth from a sort of certain height.
Yes.
And you would never see what's actually sort of over that wall, over that mountain, because you're just on your all fours, you know what I mean? And I think for me, that's what it would be like. You would just be missing out on so much because there would only be that certain level you ever sort of got up to.
Indeed. That's a very literal interpretation, and it's a really good point. We would certainly miss some greater heights and activities. But what I love about this analogy is that in spite of all the aerodynamic odds and how scary it would be to, hey, I just landed here on this planet. I'm still in Pampers, and you want me to stand up, and I keep falling down, and you expect me to stand up, and I keep falling down, and yet we still do it, don't we? Every single person. I have never met a crawling adult.
100%. You're so right. You know what I mean? And I know exactly what you mean, because people forget how difficult it was for them to start walking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But they did not give up. You know what I mean? There is like some great numbers on it. Like, I don't know, maybe like you fall over 500 times, something ridiculous like that. But every single time you're like, I got up again and I just tried.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. And we need to realize that that's actually what life is about. You know what I mean? We've got to remove the fear from everything we do and understand that when I start something, I'm more than likely not going to be great at it. I'm more than likely going to sort of fail. I'm not going to reach the expectations that I might quite set for myself, but that is okay, right? Because why? Because I can always improve. I can always get better. And the only way that I can get better is by starting and by showing up and by doing it again and again and again. And things just miraculously become better when you do things again. And anything is within your realm of possibilities, right? Anything you want, you've just literally got to be consistent and carry on doing things.
I think that's beautiful. You would make a really good transformational coach. Oh, that's right. You are one.
Oh, classic.
Because it really is. It through awareness, acceptance, and action comes change, right?
Yeah.
So, becoming aware of these, I call them growing points, that's okay. All right. That's okay. We can do this. We've all made it, right? We're all still fogging a mirror,
Totally. Yeah. I mean, we've all done so much, like literally to get where we are. You know what I mean? I was speaking to someone today, to a client of mine. I was like, can you tell me like a time in your life when, when you started something and like you failed and that, and it really stopped you in life? And he like went back and he thought, and he was like, yeah. And then he gave me an example, and then he kind of like, once he said it out loud, he's like, that's not really a good example, is it? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, this is what it's like for all of us. We think we failed in whatever, in certain things in our lives, and it's stopped us or whatever. But no, we actually haven't. We've learned from it and we've overcome it, and we will always carry on doing it. That's just, part of who we are.
That is just brilliant to realize that it wasn't the failure. It may not have been, like on a test, you got a B instead of an A. I don't know, but that's very basic. But but what a great way to look at that. I think that's so smart.
Yeah, and I think it's sometimes it's just those small things and small kind of realizations that someone needs to say to you that you just go, yeah, you're right. Like we were talking at before this chat started. that realization that you had from Lauren Tickner, that she said something to you, and it's like, sometimes it's just that little penny that needs to drop, you know, to make
I
sense of
like
things.
that. Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot. Little penny needs to drop. So when it comes to a person considering something bold, what I have found, and maybe you have too, is that it depends on who you're around, whether or not it's conceivable to do it.
100%. I mean, one of the most important things is to surround yourselves with the right people, you know, and people that are going to actually encourage you to sort of step outside of the zone and to do things. Look, it's easier said than done a lot of the time, but you must realize that there are people out there that want to be helpful, that will be helpful, and that can help you, you know what I mean? And if you can't find them right now, then just go looking. Ask people for help, because I promise you there's so many people in this world that actually want to help, no matter what, you know, never mind what you see like in the world on news and stuff. Like, it just seems like it's doomsday. It's not like that at all. Actually, people are really wired to help each other out, and you just need to ask somebody, because they'll probably be more than chuffed and happy to go, of course I'll help you, you know. And yeah, your community is massive. You must try and surround yourself with people that are going to encourage you and challenge you to just be a kind of better version of yourself.
Yes. Otherwise, what they're going to do is help you to argue for your limitations.
Totally. Yeah. You know, and that does happen a lot of the time, you know, like you have people that will go, yeah, no, well, you shouldn't do it. And, you know, and that just doesn't get you anywhere in life.
I was talking about some of the midlifers who blossom, you know, later than typically expected, whatever that means. And one of those people whose story most don't know is James Dyson. I worked for the Dyson family of products for a year and a half, and I got to go to Chicago and see the evolution of the inventions and the invention hound, you know.
Wow.
It was truly amazing to see, but even more astounding to me, Gareth, is that James Dyson had 5,000 prototypes before he hit one that worked.
Wow, that's
a
incredible.
lot of vacuums.
Yeah, tell me about it.
5,000 prototypes before he nailed it. That is that's driven.
Yeah.
And it's, I bring it up because the guys, what you want wants you even more than you want it. I love that expression. You know, if you've been given the vision, you'll be given the provisions. It really is about having that vision that it's pulling you from here. You know, you can't not do this, or it just lights you up. You know, when you work with people, Gareth, how is it that you are able to help them to realize that may or may not be the, you know, exactly what to do? How does somebody assess that to know that they're making the bold moves in the right direction?
How do you assess that? You know what, I mean, it's so different, I guess, for everybody, but people need to realize that life is a real balance of so many things, right? It's a balance of good and evil, happy and sad, good times and bad times, achievements and, say, failures. I don't like the word, but failures. And the negative side of things is always a lesson for us. It's always a lesson for us to learn from. Everything is about how you frame it. You know what I mean? So like in Dyson's example, he was rejected 4,999 times, you know, but he reframed his rejection probably as like, this is a learning lesson for me. Obviously, it's not good enough yet. Let me go back and let me refine it. Do you know what I mean? This is all about becoming better, you know what I mean? And sort of just adding a layer to yourself as a human, you know what I mean? Rather reframe these lessons and failures and rejections as like, okay, cool. Maybe I'm just not quite ready yet, but that doesn't matter. It's not going to stop me because I understand that this is part of life. When you can understand that bad things are actually part of life, it prepares you better. Okay. So, and I think that is what that is what most people probably miss out on. Because when something bad happens to them, you know, depending on the person, they'll go, oh, the world is always against me and this and that. And, you know, they'll see it and then they'll stop doing what they want to do. But if you can understand that this is actually meant to happen, that you're meant to not walk for the first 500 times you get up, that you're meant to not go for a job interview 20 times, that you know what I mean? Like, it's just part of making you better, stronger, etc., in preparation for the future you, then that really just helps you deal with tough times, I feel.
Absolutely. Great analogies and really good points, Gareth. What you're saying in so many words is resilience. And resiliency is developed based on your attitude about what just happened as to whether you can bounce back or not. And I'm looking around for my Super Bowl. I have a Super Bowl with an LED light in it. And the reason that I have this Super Bowl is because of the analogy, if a Super Bowl gets thrown down, the harder it gets thrown down, the higher it comes back. And if we could just realize that, you know, we could be like that. We could have this sort of Super Bowl strategy on what's going on. You know, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. You know?
Yeah, totally. You know, that's what it's about. It's about ups and downs. That's literally what it is about. And I think we have to toughen up. Actually, that's what we really need to do. We need to toughen up, each of us, and realize that this thing called life is not just about happiness. Honestly, that's not just what it's about. That's what we can strive for, and we can think, you know, like more positive, especially when like bad things happen. But life is about the good and the bad. The bad is there to help us enjoy the good times. The bad is there to make us stronger. We need to sort of callous our minds, like David Goggins says. He says, you got to callous your minds. You got to get stronger, so that you can deal with adversity when it comes your way. Yeah. And it's just so important, you know what I mean, that we understand that this is actually what life is about. It's not just about roses, you know, it's about the thorns as well.
Oh, beautifully said. Yes. Beautifully said. The negatives show us where we can grow, and the positives are the results of that. And,
yeah.
I tend to want to encourage that thought, because I think there's been a bit of a skew on the intention behind some of the spiritual ideals, where it's only supposed to be a certain way, and if it's not, then you're focusing on the wrong thing. Or, you know, there's not an allowance for having all those feelings and all those experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There should be, you know, like I think we have buckets, you know, I guess, I don't know, that are full of either emotions or things or whatever, and these are over our life. These buckets are good stuff, bad stuff, happy, sad, blah blah blah, and they all, you know, they either start full or whatever, and we get a certain amount of it, and it all ends up in the same place. You know what I mean? Or I mean, maybe they start with nothing, and then we just add to them throughout our lives, but they all end up at the same place too. Do you know what I mean? So basically, we get the same of good and we get the same of bad, and that's just kind of, I think, what it's about, you know. And I'm not trying to say that life is not fun and it's like negative and sad and all these things. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that like these things happen, and we need to just understand that they happen, and just acknowledge it when it's there. You're like, cool, okay, I understand that you're happening for a reason. I'm not going to let you get me down, but I'm going to try and learn from you.
Yeah. To me, that's an acceptance attitude, and accepting of what's happened. What is what shows up, and what we make of it's up to us, right? So, you know, one of the questions an interviewer asks a lot is, do you think everything happens for a reason? Well, yeah. If I knock this pencil off the table, it's because I pushed the pencil off the table. What does it mean? I mean, seriously, I love to use stupid analogies that are common. Like, it's a pencil, it fell off the table. It's something that happened in life. What do you choose to make it mean? and asking the question in a certain way can get you one answer or another. Like, why does this shit always happen to me? Versus, how can I learn from this? Or what did I miss? Or how could I have more fun today than I ever thought possible in spite of this BS? Like, it's a mindset shift into forward motion instead of, just to slump back and I'm done.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, if you want me to kind of answer the question, I mean, I do think that things happen for a reason, and there's some sort of, who knows what it is, but like overall power that sort of controls what goes on in the earth and in the world, and it sort of selects when good stuff might happen to you or bad stuff might happen to you, and it's just there to kind of like remind you that your life is good or your life is bad, or and then it's up to you just to kind of how you deal with it.
Well, I would like to know where free will comes in on that, with ideal that you just mentioned.
How would you define free will?
Well, if there's a bigger thing that's, as you said, is controlling what's going on, and there's also this concept that we have free will, that we can, we are thinking sentient beings who can, freely move about the planet, so to speak. Free will is a concept of, you may have a decision or a path ahead of you, but then you can freely decide to do something else. You can freely decide to think something else. Is this, how does that fit in with your idea that you just said about this bigger overarching force?
Well, for sure. Look, I think there's I mean, it's not always going to say like pick on you, this force thing, but you have a massive amount of control in terms of, how your life turns out, and if you want to call it free will, then then we can call it free will. Like, but you have a massive influence in how, in which direction your life goes, and in how, you basically have a choice every single day, when it comes to everything. Like, you have a choice with absolutely everything. Like, you can go down this route or you can go down that route, right? So for example, you can wake up in the morning and you can go, flipping hell, I'm like, I'm not in a good mood. And you can let that sort of take you, and you can just be in a bad mood the whole day. But what it's going to do is it's going to impact all your interactions with the people you have in that day, because you're not going to respond well, you're going to say the wrong things, etc. But you can wake up in that bad mood, but you can go, you know what, actually, I'm going to just have like 10 minutes to myself, and I'm going to kind of reframe things, and I'm going to just go, okay, my choice today is actually to be happy. I notice you bad mood, but I'm going to be happy. I'm going to have my 10 minutes so I can get over you. And then you have a choice that basically decides the rest of your day is like, cool, I'm going to, now the first person I see today, I'm just going to smile at. The next person I see, I'm going to say good morning. The next person I see, I'm going to give a high five. That just changes your day. You know what I mean? So that's really cool. That free will that you have is available to every one of us. We all have a choice with every single interaction that we have, with everything that we do in life. It is that simple in a way, in my mind. Of course you're going to get thrown certain curveballs, but once again, you still have a choice with how you react to things. Things that I guess are not, say, life-threatening or whatever, but yeah.
That was beautifully said. I mean, I almost want to just be like applauding wildly and saying, thank you for tuning in, guys. This was brilliant. Bye. It's just so well said. We do have a choice. We do have an option, but if handling something is not, in a toolbox, if somebody doesn't have that ability in their toolbox, so to speak, it's not an option for them to handle it well. And I have seen, being brought up in a very chaotic environment doesn't necessarily give you words and thoughts of peace when things go awry. You don't necessarily have that as an option until you seek it out. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Look, I mean, I think there's a thing that I think like neuro-linguistic programming talks about, is like everybody responds and is doing the best that they can to them in that moment. Do you know what I mean? So they might not have the tools at that moment, and their response might be the complete wrong one, but it's actually the best thing that they can actually do at the moment with the tools that they have. It doesn't mean that you cannot learn these things. Okay, so for example, there's so many people in this world that have grown up with nothing, right? They've grown up in a family where the dad's left, or the mom's been killed, and they grow up in a one-parent family, and that parent takes drugs and whatever. They're like, on paper, basically the chances of them doing something in life are minimal. Okay, but there are so many people that have grown up like that have done amazing things in this world. They have done amazing things in this world. They've overcome that adversity. They didn't have necessarily the tools in the start, but they have them now, and they've learned them over time. So yeah, it's I mean, it's kind of a difficult question to answer, but we do all ultimately, especially in this day and age, have more options and ways of learning things than we ever did before.
When in doubt, seek it out.
Yeah, totally. Just
made that one up. Gee, you inspire me, Gareth. I've had a few pithy one-liners come rolling out of this conversation.
It's great.
If someone would like to reach out to you, what would they do? What might be their best move?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to reach out to me, just seriously get in contact on, like on our website for our podcast is ridic-human.com, or my own coaching website, which is garethmartin.net. And yeah, anyway, but seriously, like on any social media, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, whatever, like I'm on all of those. It's easy to find me, I guess, I think. And I just love helping people and talking to people, and just providing a little bit of a different perspective and maybe a little bit of inspiration to help people out.
You're very humble in your little bits. I hear you, the way that, and I know that's a vernacular from where you come from. It's just a little bit, but you actually provide so much value in life, so much light, so much love. You are like love personified, wearing jeans, like there's love walking down the street, he's got a pair of jeans on, his name Gareth. That is who you are and what you bring to the tribe. And you're such a blessing. And if you please check out the Ridiculously Human podcast. You'll get so much value out of it. Gareth and his co-host Craig are phenomenal in their setup, the way that they get ready to interview somebody, and the quality, the value of the conversation on the backside is just phenomenal. You're a phenomenal human being, Gareth. And I want to thank you for being on Bold Movers and Shakers, because the wisdom that you've shared in this whatever time we've been chatting is so vital to those who really just need to just kind of take one more baby step to that bold move to get them out of that comfort zone. And you've just been such a value. Thank you so much.
Well, no, I mean, thank you so much for having me on the show. And, I think as a podcast host, you don't get enough credit, and like what you do is amazing, and just giving someone else the opportunity to share their story and to share a little bit of their insights is amazing. And you are a special lady yourself that has such amazing energy and such amazing charisma and an amazing story too. And, I just really thankful that our paths have crossed, and thank you just for your time and for giving me this opportunity to speak with you. So really, really, just grateful.
Oh, that was probably the most gracious thank you and exit I've ever heard. Thank you so kindly. Guys, thanks for tuning in to Bold Movers and Shakers, where we will once again rock the boat with an interview. You never know who's going to show up on this show, and it's always going to be amazing. Until we speak again, take care and make one more baby step towards that bold move. On a second. I should have had the recorder on. I just got paid the highest compliment in the world.
No, but it's really true.
being able to facilitate someone's brilliance to come out is really what it is.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? And it's that art of listening. And I think this is such a refined art that we should be taught this at school. Like, you know, forget reading. Like, it should be reading and listening should be the subject at school, because the more we can actually listen to each other, the better it's just going to be, you know, like, rather than talking over each other, just stay a little bit more curious for like maybe 10 more minutes and let the other person talk. And then you can provide your feedback. You know what I mean? I think, yeah, that's what we need to do a bit more of. And you do it so well yourself.
Well, I thank you. It really is about self-expression and authentic self-expression, and being okay with whatever that person is as they present themselves and where they want to be. All of it's okay. You know, it's just that attitude, that outlook of, okay, oh, okay. Yeah, it's transformative.
Yeah.
For people that have never been heard, listened to, and accepted. Wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's fun about being a podcaster. You're such a delight, and I'm gonna let you go on that happy note. I am so blessed to thank God Emily Penn did an interview with you, because ever since then I've just been like, you're on.
Well, that's cool. Well, thank you for we're super happy and thankful that you've come into our lives as well. So I'm really looking forward to speaking with you on Monday. It's going to be super exciting.
Absolutely, hon. Until we meet again.
Cool stuff. All right, Alexis. Thanks a lot.
All the best, love.
Speak to you later.